I'd like to call the Board of Public Works Committee to start. Clerk Eliazi, will you take roll call, please?
Alderman Langdon.
Here.
Alderman Schmidt. Here. Alderman Ted Grady.
Here.
Alderman Rapella.
Here.
Alderman Nichols.
Here.
Alderman Taylor.
Here.
Alderman Sevenick.
Here.
Alderman Tom Grady is absent.
Thank you. Tonight, to start out, we have the minutes to approve from the February 3rd, 2020 Board of Public Works meeting. Do I have a motion? Alderman Taylor?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from February 3rd, 2020.
Thank you. I have a motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Ted Grady. Is there any questions? Nope. All those in favor, signify aye. Aye. Nay. Minutes are approved. So tonight, we have, two discussion / action items. And the first one is the recommendation to award contract 2020-20 Jefferson Park parking lot, basketball court, and regrading. So before we get into it, us aldermen, there's a member from the Park Board here tonight, and he would just like to say a couple of things about the finances. If nobody minds, can I have a unanimous consent to allow it?
I'll offer unanimous consent.
Okay, we have authorization, so Mr. Sturm?
Thank you, Chairman Langdon. Appreciate it. I guess, given the previous discussion, there can be a little doubt.
Hold on a second. He's got to put your mic on.
I have to push the button.
There you go.
Okay. Okay, given the previous discussion, there probably is little doubt why I'm here tonight, but my main concern is the process that we went through. The Park Board has been working diligently and for a long time on the master plan. And up to this point, we have not initiated any improvements, and we had delayed improvements during the time that we were developing the master plan. So, you know, time has not been on our side, hasn't been kind to us to get Jefferson Park in the kind of condition that we want it to be. Park Board also decided that infrastructure development should be first. That was how we ranked the priorities on how we would tackle the master plan. And the master plan's quite ambitious. And how do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time. But we haven't gotten that first bite yet. So that's what we're trying to do. In 2019, the Park Board unanimously decided that Jefferson Park would be our priority, that we really need to get something done there. It's showing some age and it's in need of improvement. Infrastructure has been left go. We went through a process with the public. We went into the design. We have a consultant that worked with us. We've worked in developing the CIP budgets, brought it forth in 2018 and 2019, and here we are in 2020 looking for approval. So during that time, anybody that had a concern could come forward, and we welcomed that and worked on the design with those that had concerns. Some of the concerns was there's too much parking. Other concerns were there's too little parking. I think that we found what we feel was just the right amount of parking and completed the design. We've also worked with the Department of Engineering to see what would fit and how things would work. So at this point, the design phase is complete. We've gone through the process. We've completed it. we are now down to the financing for the second time. This time, we were met with favorable bids. Being that there were only 2 bidders this time, and the field will shrink even more should we reject bids again. And that's not a threat, that's just reality, that if you put people through several hundred hours of work developing a bid proposal, and then you don't accept any bids, they're not gonna be picking up your proposals that quickly the next time. So I'm asking you to please consider and approve the bid that we have that fits the CIP budget that was approved and the designs that were approved through the process. So please help us get Jefferson Park project master plan launched and on its way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sturm. Okay, so I am looking for a motion to forward this to council. Alderman Stan Severnick.
There's a recommended, motion, is that still in order? Dollar amount and everything is correct? Okay. At this time, I'll move that we, send this to the common council, staff's recommendation, and the, Park and Rec Board, contract unit 2020-02, not 20. To include alternates A1 and A2 be awarded to Vinton Construction Company in the amount of $492,867.95.
So I have a motion by Alderman Stan Severnick and a second by Alderman Ted Grady. I will allow discussion on the amount only. That's what this, we are here tonight to approve or disapprove. We're not here to talk about changing anything, moving anything around. We're here just to vote on the bid. So,
I still have the floor, so if you don't mind.
oh, yeah,
that
go ahead,
okay?
you got,
Thank you, Chair.
yes.
I struggled with this particular bid. It is higher than the time before, but as you recalled, last year the bids, when they came in, they were overbid. I'm trying to figure out what I want to say under the chair's rules here.
Well, go ahead.
And in the back of my mind, I look at Jefferson Park and I agree with the comments that the chair of the Park and Rec Board said, that we all know that Jefferson Park is the gem of the Fox Valley. We learned that. But it is starting to deteriorate, and that's a reflection on us. And I struggled with this because it's a lot of money. We're doing the city garage. We have other projects. And you have to decide what's best in this community. I think in our community, the number one thing that people really like is their park, Jefferson Park. And I think this is just the first domino to fall to make this probably even a greater park. And with the bids that did come in, I agree with Mr. Sturm that we reject these bids, we are in trouble later on. There's a lot of work that goes into this. There was a lot of work that went into this from the city also. This also was part of our complete comprehensive plan, a study that was done that's made this a priority. So with all of that, and sticking with the chair's concerns of this staying within the issue of the bid, I think, as obviously I made the motion, that I will support this and feel that this is something that the people of Menasha are expecting from us, because it will be a reflection on all of us.
Thank you, Alderman Severnick. Alderman Repella?
Thank you very much, Alderman Langdon. Okay, I mean, I'm old enough to know Jefferson Park was heavily used with the mill picnics, the boat races, the bike races, the 4-day 4th of July festival with all the amusement stuff that was in the pool parking lot. And none of those things are here now. All we have is a jazz fest. We have a 1-day 4th of July. The park is underutilized as far as there's fishermen in there. There's a few people in there maybe walking or playing, but it's not overly utilized. For that case, Riverside and Nina is not overly utilized either, except they do have a few more things, a few more activities, but the day-to-day use of their park isn't that great. We have the city garage that we're concerned about. We've got plenty of money that's dealing with that. I read through here that we had a couple complaints about the basketball courts already. I struggle because in my mind, and I will use this, I think I told this to Brian, when they built my house, they built the house and then they put the driveway in. And for us, I mean, if we were putting in the big, huge playground and everything was kind of going in, boom, boom. But no, we're going to build the parking lot, and then maybe 2 years, who knows how long, because we haven't had a commitment. We know how the commitment goes with the steam plant. Letter of intent mean nothing. Who knows when the playground's going to be put in. So here we sit with a nice park. You're not going to leave that baseball diamond graded with dirt. You're going to grow grass on it. And then it could sit there. I'm caught because here we're going to have this nice parking lot. What other activities? Brian said maybe we'd have a beer tasting thing once a month there. Okay, that's one night out of 30 nights a month. That'd be busy again. I don't know if the park's utilized that much. There's a tremendous amount of parking. James has got a map, and there's a tremendous amount of parking. And I realize you want to park right next to the place. That's why you have a driveway by your house. You don't want to park, or a garage next to your house, because you don't want to park, Timbuktu to go to your house. You want to park right next to it. And so I realize why you want to have the parking lot next to the playground. But I wish there was a no waiting period here. We can do both at the same time rather than build the parking lot. We'll see how long it takes for the playground to get done. I do look at the parking lot for the pool. Yes, it needs to be recoated, relined. I even looked at the parking lot by the back of the school. I know you guys put another layer of blacktop on a few years back. Sure, that could even be coated again and made to look prettier. But as far as putting in another whole parking lot for I don't know who, I don't think it's like the Field of Dreams. Build it and they're going to come. Hey, we got to go visit Jefferson Park. They got a new parking lot. I don't think that's going to happen. Kids aren't riding their bikes anymore. You can go on and on. Kids are stuck on their smartphones all the time. They're not getting out of the house. They're not doing anything. There were no kids outside today. You guys realize there was no school today. But there were no kids outside today. Not in my neighborhood. All over. I drove around. There were no kids outside. Where were they? In their house, on their phone. Or playing Wii. Or
Randy,
playing...
are you,
I'm still on going. She got a half hour to sit there and do
No.
a filibuster. Okay, so, I'm still on my thing, so I could see putting some of this money to fixing up those parking lots with the lines and those type of things. But as far as doing the whole $493,000,
go.
I think that's way too much. So, thank you.
There you go. Thank you, Alderman Repella.
You're welcome.
Alderman Ted Grady?
Thank you, Chair. Interesting, Randy. As Alderman Sevenick said, that's Jefferson Park is Menasha. That's our jewel. That's our place. Facts are facts. We came within budget. This was put forth. There's a lot of commitment done by Park and Rec Director Brian Tengate, Dick Sturm being a chair on the Park and Rec for over 25 years. I serve on that Park and Rec board too, and you got Thad Brown that does a tremendous job and just doing everything. We need this. This is like the domino effect. It's no different than the Bryn. You build it, yes, Randy, they're gonna come. This is going to be something needed to start, and there's a vision plan for Jefferson Park. If you look at it, it's in phases. We don't have money growing off trees here. We can only do so much with what we have. And this was budgeted for and it was approved. So let's get on, get this parking lot going, get the upgrade of the basketball courts or whatever's involved in this 400,000, and we'll do the next phase. And there are a lot of people down there visiting that park. And it's not just 1 or 2 nights a week. It's just constant traffic. So I guess I'll get off my horse now, but it's budgeted, it's planned, it's what it should be, and let's continue.
Thank you, Alderman Ted Grady. Alderman Taylor, James Taylor?
You know, we thank the park board. That's what these commissions and boards are for, to help do the legwork on things. We appreciate the citizens that put their input into the projects. And when they get to this body, there's other factors too. Last year, we budgeted this for $225,000. Bids came in at 400-some thousand. We didn't do it, okay? We put in, that was just for the parking lot expansion behind the school. Now we're doing the pool parking lot, and what do we hear? What's in the master plan? We need a new pool. Is that 2 years, 3 years, 5, 6, 7 years out? I met with Brian Corey the other day, Friday, and why would we want to put money into the pool parking lot at this time if we're going to move the pool and the parking lot down 3rd Street to the east? If we need to recoat a parking lot or restripe it, well, that's a lot different. We're talking $500,000 here for parking lots. The project, $700,000 for the equipment. That's $1.2 million for one little project here. And I agree with Randy. Build it and they will come. The Brent isn't putting in the parking lot and then hoping that, we didn't put in the parking lot and hope that the Brent would come. It's all together. It's a package. The master plan is coming up on 3 years in May that the master plan was put out. When it comes to the equipment for this project that's going to go on there, it was $700,000. The school was going to put in $100,000. Now the school's down to $10,000. I asked about where's the money for this equipment? Are we going to fundraise it? We always heard that it was going to be paid for by a fundraising project. That hasn't happened. And to me, that goes hand in hand with this project. We just can't sit up here and spend $500,000 for some blacktop and then hope that something's going to come here
that was supposed to be donated, that the school said they were gonna put 100,000, and we have a donor that's gonna put 500,000 or better into it. And I hope that happens. I do. I hope that happens. Do I think Jefferson Park has lost its luster? Absolutely not. We put in a shoreline, $50,000 last year. We've always kept that park looking good. But like Randy said too, times change. Times change. When we do this pool project, we better really do a deep dive on that, and I'm getting off on that, but times are changing. And $1.2 million is a lot of money for this city. Tonight we heard from the public, there's problems with having a basketball court in their front yard on I Street. I asked the director last Friday if they were notified, the neighbors, that the basketball court was gonna be in their front yard, and the answer was no. I think before this goes to council, that neighborhood needs to be informed of these changes. There's a lot of people are playing basketball, there's a lot of yelling. You got the ball hitting the backboard. You got the ball dribbling. Would I want it? Would any of you want a basketball court 100 feet across the street from you? I don't think so. Here's a new parking lot we're putting in. We're taking up more parkland. The state, the federal parks are all going the opposite way. They're putting in green space. They're not putting in more blacktop. Some parks nationally, they don't even want cars in the national parks. I don't think the basketball was in the master plan. And this is something new, this basketball court getting dropped in there.
Yeah, it's in there.
We've done improvements throughout that whole park, and there's nothing wrong with Jefferson Park. And you want me to vote tonight here on spending almost $500,000 on parking? That's a hard sell for me. We've had all these years to fundraise for this property, for this project. And like Randy said, it should go hand in hand. We should be doing this project and then dropping in the equipment that we talked about. Cart before the horse, you bet. Standing there with new parking lots, I was told it's gonna motivate people to come forward and donate money to it. Well, that's a hard sell. Like Randy said, you build your house, you don't put the parking lot, the driveway in first. It's just like the steam plant, cart before the horse. We got nothing written down. That we had a letter of intent. This we don't even have a letter of intent for $700,000 worth of equipment. And if that doesn't happen, who's gonna put that in? The public? So we got a $1.2 million project here. No matter who pays for it, we got a $1.2 million project here. I have a couple of visuals I wanna show. Adam, if you could pull those up.
You don't allow visuals? Is it on the,
No, I'll allow it.
Yeah,
And
Mark said
if
he'd
I can
allow.
just interject, this is about the award of a contract. That's it.
And it's about a parking lot.
It's about the
that
award
we
of a
c-
contract.
Yes, and
That's
it's like
it.
everybody
It's
talked here
yes or no.
tonight. Everybody talked here tonight. It's about where this money's going to. And it's award of a contract, and I gotta vote on this. The people at home are watching. What are you voting on tonight? And I just wanna show a couple pictures
what are,
of our parking lot. Okay, Mark?
Go ahead,
Yeah, go ahead.
make it, yep.
I want the public to see this too, that's why I brought this. Before I vote on this $493,000. What we're looking here, beautiful blue sky. We're looking at the parking on Conomac Street by the pool. On August 2nd, 88 degrees, perfect day. Parking's not filled up. Next slide. Same day, you have 88 stalls on 3rd Street. 3 stalls are taken up on this perfect picture day. Next slide. This is the pool parking lot. There's a whole section of the pool parking lot on the same day, not even, the pool parking lot's not even full. And it's not in bad shape either. Next slide. Here's the parking lot that we want to expand into our parkland. This is on day in July, same day, 80-some degrees. 2 people parked in this parking lot. Next slide. Here's the same parking lot back on that August 2nd day. That the parking lot that we have to expand because we need to handle all the cars in the parking lot. And there's 1 car in that parking lot now. Around Jefferson Park, right on Jefferson Park, there's 393 parking stalls. Shocked? I'll bet you are shocked, because I was shocked when we went and looked at them. This is throughout the park. This is across the street. This is direct impact of the park. We have 393 parking stalls, and now we have to expand the park. And you know, when people come to play in this new playground equipment, when they come to the pool, when they come to fish, or to use trails, there's ample parking. Somehow, I can't sell to the public $500,000 to put in 2 parking lots and not even have any money for the equipment that we said. As Randy said, all the festivals are gone. Jazz Fest, that's at the other end of the park on the east side. That doesn't even affect the pool parking lot or the parking lot behind the school. So we have ample parking in Menasha, and for that reason, and we have a lot more better projects. If the $700,000 was here for this project along with this, I would probably vote for a limited amount of maybe fixing up the parking lots, but not to expand the parking lot in the park. We don't need to put blacktop into our park. We got it right there, and you see there's no need for it. As Randy said, the big festivals are gone. Seafood Fest left last year. As Bobby Dillon said, the times are changing, and we got to change with it, and we don't need to
Again, I'm
extend
going to
another parking
interject.
lot.
We're way off topic on the award of a bid. This is not on the agenda.
And so is everybody else. So don't single me out, Miss Captain. Thank you.
Turn your mic off.
Are you done, James?
Yes.
Okay. I just heard from a few of the aldermen, and we are bidding on the contract. I called Brian today and talked to him, and he's known my concerns about with the basketball courts, but I wanted just to mention, because it was brought up, Director Tungate, that you had some public information meetings to talk about stuff and talk about money. So I see that the plan that the Park and Rec Board put together, that, the public was invited to give their thoughts, which they did, and their thoughts on the, they knew on the mount. So with that, then I, am going to look for a motion to,
I already did.
oh, I'm sorry. So with that, we'll take a vote. You go, oh, okay. Alderman Taylor?
Thank you. The changes that are coming is we're not gonna need parking lots. The pool's moving down, it's getting a new parking lot, so why put more money in this parking lot and make more money? It's getting moved down the street. And like I say, the park board, and maybe it's our fault, but I would think that they would have raised money for this by now, or not the park board, but the community, and that hasn't happened, and we just can't sit back and have another project fail and fall on our watch here for $1.2 million. And as you saw, we don't need the parking, folks. We don't need the parking.
Alderman Ted Grady?
So I thought we were, looking at $493,000. I don't know where the $1.2 million or Alderman Taylor's talking about. The issue at hand is the contract that was out for bid. It came under budget. It's $492,000. Are we gonna vote for that? Yes or no? That's what we should be doing.
Correct. So,
One more time, Mark?
make it about money?
Yeah, on the money. Yes, it is $492,000 that we don't need to spend, and it's the $700,000 that's supposed to be with this project for the getting rid of the baseball diamond, leveling that, and putting in that project. That's right, and what's it for? I met with the department head, and he told me, once we level this, take out the baseball diamond, level that all out, that's where the project was from the beginning, to put $700,000 worth of equipment in there, and it's not here. So how can we do this to the public and say, whoa, look at a nice parking lot you got for $500,000, but there's nothing else there?
So I just wanted to give my short spiel that with this, excuse me, project, it is in phases. So the first phase is $492,867.95. And I am in the belief that, I am not going on that if we build it, they will come. The money was approved in the budget in November. They may not have been on one page, which I learned, that, the mayor taught me, that we went through and he showed me, and there's like 4 or 5 different pages for that money, but it's for Jefferson Park. And it is to start to put the game plan into place. And so with that 492,867.95 was approved in the budget last November. So with that, I'd like to, James, what money? Okay, Alderman Taylor.
It's all about money, Mr. Chairman. It's all about money, and I thank you for this opportunity. One thing about, as Mr. Storm said, and other people said up here, with the park board, with the public input, yes, but do they do a deep dive? Do they see that the pool is getting moved down? Do they know that we had to put all this money into the parking lots, even though the pool's getting moved down the street with a new parking lot? So there's a lot more that surfaces here, and that's our job. That's our job. So we appreciate everything the public puts in, the boards put in, but when it gets here, the buck stops here, and show me the $700,000 for that equipment.
Thank you, Alderman Taylor. Alderman Nichols.
Thank you, Chair. I would just like to offer a correction to the motion. I think the motion on the floor states alternate A1 and A2. The bid tabulation sheet is 1A and 1B. So if it's all right with the person who made the
Sure.
motion,
Yeah, I just, the recommended motion was written,
just a housekeeping item. Thank you.
good catch.
Thank you, Alderman Nichols, for that. So with that, I will take a roll call on this, please.
Motion carried on roll call, 5-2.
Okay, with that, we have, number 2, which is, 0.02-20, an ordinance modifying section 10-1-26 of the motor vehicles and traffic ordinance. Director Adam.
Like my mama always said, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Not quite. There was supposed to be a memo. I apologize. There was an updated memo that was to have gone with this. After the last meeting in January, we had some internal discussions in regards, obviously there was no motion taken at that meeting. We had some internal discussions. I had discussions with the mayor, and I did have a chance to talk with Alderman Rapella, and said, give me a chance to take a look at, and this is what the memo was, that should have been included, indicated that, obviously there, you know, we brought this forward because there were some concerns in regards to the situation. That we felt as though that we could improve safety concerns that were raised to us and the flow of traffic there. And one of the options that we can choose to do is do nothing and leave it as is. The other option is what we recommended originally, was to provide signage, and we figured that was at a cost of about $300 to provide the adequate signage to make sure everyone is aware that happens to be there, that there is, that if you're in the left lane, that there's a vehicle on your right, that you gotta allow them to merge, provide them ample room to merge. The other thing that we had checked on over the last month is that could we improve the situation with traffic signals, using the traffic signals, not requiring any, no parking on Taco Street. So what we did is we had engineering aide Charlie Hutter take a look at the cabinet, what we had in there for controls. And then we reached out to our vendor, and we got a price of about $15,000 to upgrade the cabinets and the controls to enable us to put like a green arrow, green light. And what we would do is we would time the traffic, northbound would go first, allow it to clear. We could, with those 2 lanes, then create a right turn only lane, but that would come at a cost of at least $15,000 or $15,300, because there probably would be signage as well. So that's what this memo was. This is why I'm bringing it back. Again, the options for you folks would be A, do nothing, B, amend or modify the ordinance to include no parking 200 feet north, and then provide the signage per the MUTCD to allow for traffic to merge left, or look at spending a little bit more money and try and put up, improve the traffic signals there to sort of, improve the situation there. So that's why it's back on the agenda.
Alderman Taylor?
Where did this come from? The mayor has his name on it. It's in Alderman Nichols' district. Where did this come from? Where's the,
I received one call, and then I know that the mayor had talked to us in regards to it as well, that he had some concerns.
so we have one
Public.
call?
Well,
Can I speak? You don't need to turn me on. So I did receive several electronic, email, and other social media concerns regarding this intersection. I did also receive one phone call, if I remember correctly. It is something that is very near and dear to a few people's hearts, and when we found out it didn't meet MUTC standards, we felt that we should at least look at meeting those standards. If you go to, you could call it northbound Badger Ave, at College Avenue, there's a very similar situation, and we're proposing signing it in a very similar situation here. But that's how this started, was with several requests to us over about a 1.5-year time period. It keeps coming up over and over.
By the same individual.
I'm sorry, Alderman Taylor, I'm sorry.
By the same individual? How many?
I don't have an exact number, but there were several people. It wasn't the same individual each time that called me. It was multiple
I
individuals.
see the map here, I had a hard time, is that gonna take away that bus stop there? And there's a lot of, people that stop there to pick up their parents, at that nursing home, or not, at the, at the senior living.
yeah. There is a bus stop there, but there are also multiple bus stops, like on Racine Street, Highway 47, where there is no on-street parking. So they do stop, and if you happen to be behind them, then you
What about-
obviously wait your turn.
What about the kids that pick up mom right there on that street, right where that bus stop is too? Is that gonna be taken away?
You can, if you read our ordinance, you can stop to allow for that type of activity. You just can't park and leave your vehicle unattended there.
And,
So,
you know, I drive through that intersection daily, multiple times. I worked that way for 43 years, and what's gonna happen is, and that somebody's gonna call on the next block on between Chute and Broad Street. And then somebody's gonna call between Broad and First to Second, and Second to Third, and then we're gonna end up with no parking on that street. And, you know, people merge over. I look down there, there's nobody in the right lane. I get in there because I'm gonna turn on Broad Street. And, people work it out like any intersection around town when you, have to merge over. Racine Street's the same thing. It's not striped that way, but people use it as a 4-lane at times. But I think, the important thing here is with this development coming, that we put in that right turn lane. Thanks.
Alderman Repella?
Alderman, Adam, I think you did a nice job with that. Oops,
Leave it.
I'm good? Yeah, Adam, I think you did a nice job with the signage. Another one is over on over by Galloway Milk in Neenah. They have almost the same type of deal. Without spending a whole lot of money, I think for $300, you've saved the city a bunch, and we'll at least put a sign up to solve some of the issues and at least protect the city and saying that we're doing something. So, thank you very much for your efforts, you and Corey. Thank you.
Alderman Sevenick?
Thank you, Chair. I'm not hearing, there were 3 proposals. I'm not hearing an option here, so. One is to do nothing, 2 is the signage thing, and the 3rd is to signalization, expenditures of possibly up to 15,000. And then maybe even a 4th, like Alderman Taylor said, when this other project goes in, maybe we put back that right turn. So there's a 4th option too, I guess. someone needs to step forward. It's not my issue. What do you wanna do? You want your option of spending the 300, or? I just wanna get this the meeting moving, cause everyone's just standing here.
Alderman Repella?
I'll make the motion for, passing the recommendation that Adam has done for extending the no parking zone 210 feet north of the intersection, which will provide sufficient distance to place advanced warning sign. So that's, I'll make that motion.
I have a
Thank you.
motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Alderman Repella, and a second by Alderman Nichols. Discussion, I think Alderman Taylor was next.
Again, there's no
Alderman Taylor?
parking, you got a service sidewalk that was put in to come out to Taco Street for the bus stop, and for, I see the people getting in their kid's car and picking up mom over there on Taco Street, and, I don't think it's a good idea.
Alderman Sevenick?
I tend to agree with what Alderman Taylor's saying. I think, if you use that area, which probably I would guess at least half the people or more do, they should know not to be in that lane. But of course, if someone's visiting or first time, you know, we should have our streets designed in such a way that it makes the flow safe. I'm just kinda concerned, I guess I could go along with what Randy's proposing, but how do you put an arrow then eventually that you gotta merge back over, or what? Right, but is that what he's proposing?
what we
Cause I
do
didn't
is-
hear that.
What we do is we designate the no parking 210 feet up. There'll be a sign indicating that they have to merge left in two spots, merge ahead and then merge left partway up. So
Anything
what
in the
that
road
does is,
surface?
pardon me?
He's saying like out in Neenah, they're in the
But we
road
could put,
surface.
we could put arrows down on the pavement to indicate that you have to merge left. At that time, we had talked about, you know, putting the signage up first to see if that was
Okay.
warranted.
All right, yeah, cause I would think that that would be, when you drive down a street, you can go 2 blocks and you could probably count 40 signs, and you're not gonna see every sign, okay? And people think I'm crazy when I say that, and then I have them do it, and they can't believe the number of signs that they can count. So I would like to see the marking, but if, I mean, you guys are the experts, if you feel you wanna try that out first, then do that, but, I think you need that arrow, otherwise, what James is saying is true.
I'm just going to step in here quick before Alderman Taylor. Alderman Taylor made a good comment earlier, about, the parking there. I just wanted to give my quick 2 cents is, when there, and I've been a part of it, and I'm sure every one of us has been a part of it, that when you're heading north on Taco, and you get to them stoplights, sometimes there's 2, 3, 4 vehicles in that left lane, and I can bet, if I'm a betting man, I'd win that you would go into the right lane because you didn't want to sit behind 3, 4, 5 vehicles. So what happens is when the green light flat comes on, boom, the person in that right lane guns her to get ahead of the other vehicles, and I can guarantee everybody's done that. And so, to me, that's a huge safety concern. I understand Alderman Taylor's, I understand Repella, and I just wanted to give my 2 cents before I make a vote, but that happens on a daily basis, and I gotta admit that I've done it more than once, so. Okay, Alderman Taylor.
Thank you. I wish we had a visual up here, but I noticed at 110 feet, you have the sidewalk coming out of that senior living complex, and then it looks like about maybe 20, 30 more feet. Is that where you want to put that line? Is that, or is it right at where that bus stop is?
Right at that bus stop, right
Right
at
at the
that.
bus
That's-
stop,
That's
so-
where the, and again, we need 210 feet per the MUTCD, and it just happens to line up right there.
So can that sign go like right on this side of the south side of that site, service sidewalk that's coming out of that building?
Yeah, there will be no sign there. That's where the no parking ends.
So,
And then your signage would be right at the intersection and at 110,
Okay.
100 feet down.
so if someone pulls up there to pick up their mom where that service sidewalk comes out, that's not a no parking zone.
It'll, right, at that moment, they'll be in between, but there again, if you look at our ordinance, it's not, if you are stopped there to pick somebody up, drop someone off, that's not considered parking.
Okay.
And that would not be, a violation of the no parking.
So I think we should consider that sidewalk and that parking should, no parking should be just before that.
Just before it?
Yeah. So a car can at least park there to pick up mom or brother or sister or somebody. Like it's being used for now. Thank you.
So that would still go under Alderman Rapella's motion, so. With that, I think we're done with, questions. I will,
Yes, Randy made.
we do have a motion, so, Kirk Galiazzi, we take a roll call on this, please, forward.
Motion carried on roll call 7-0.
Okay, the last one is, motion for adjournment. Adjourned by, Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Grotti. All those in favor, aye? Aye. We are adjourned, thank you.
Opposed?
Oppose? We are adjourned.